Singe, we thought that might come in against the Shen pick, and also a Vayne for Imp.
Yeah, and the biggest thing here is that they save Dade for counter picking. They don't want to show that early. Vulcun talked about how much they were focusing on it. They didn't use any bans on him yet, but Mandatory Cloud, with such a large champion pool, can easily use the pick advantage to counter Dade if they actually lock that mid lane in early, so they save it to last.
So it looks like it will be that Zyra-Ashe combo, which they went with against Mineski actually in their last game. Ended with some pretty impressive scores for both Bloodwater and Zuna that time around. It will be a Twisted Fate pickup here for ManCloud.
Now going Twisted Fate against Dade is pretty interesting because Dade mainly plays attack damage champions. He does not play a lot of AP champions. Even though he does main mid, it's mostly attack damage. And they go back to one of the things that was successful for them, which is the mid Ezreal. So they're going to have a double AD composition with Singed as a teleport split pusher. So Singed try and draw resources from Vulcun up top while the rest of his team takes early turrets. Makes use of this 4-man range squad that they're going to have with the CC of the Crescendo and the Cocoons to try and keep them safe. However, Vulcun, Ashe is really good against that because Crystal Arrow guaranteed engage.
So we've got two very interesting lineups. Let's see what you guys at home think about this game. According to lolesports.com, 60% of you going for Ozone this time around, and our analysts all thinking the same.
I don't know. After seeing this champ select, I'm feeling like Vulcun have a pretty good chance. Analysts went over it, though. Vulcun have been making a lot of sort of careless mistakes that have just thrown whatever game plan they had out the window.
Well, that's certainly something that they need to change this time around. This is pretty much the game now. This is the make or break game in this group. Gambit losing out to Fnatic gives a very big lease of life, so to speak, to both Vulcun and Ozone in this one. But it really depends on who wins this game as to who's going to be challenging them come the end of the day.
Vulcun also, by the way, have said that any team with Shen plus Twisted Fate should never lose. They, however, did lose with that combination in the North American LCS. We'll see if they can actually execute it this time because that combo of the dual globals is one of their favorites. And since they've also added in a bottom lane with Ashe Arrow, another global, they just have so much engaged potential and the ability to turn the champion numbers in their favor.
Well, here we go then. We're going to get into game. It's Vulcun versus Samsung Galaxy Ozone for what is the most important game that these guys are going to be playing, certainly this week. For now, the first week here of group stage here in the World Championships for Season 3. We see Looper there, got his sun cream strapped to his back and not going to be face checking through there. Dade, he's just hanging off to the side here and will actually throw that Mystic shot through, which will connect onto Zuna, but Vulcun playing aggressive here at level 1.
They know that they've been spotted, so they're just going to try and get some wards down on this little excursion and then exit the jungle as safely as possible. They got what they wanted. They've got complete vision of this blue side jungle of Ozone. Now they're setting up something really sneaky. This could be a late invade on the blue buff. Ozone have to be very scary because they didn't get any of their own vision down before the invade came off.
And this is the game to not risk pretty much anything going forward. And we can see that Ozone seem to want to play it very safely as well by sticking to this top side of the map where they know that Vulcun don't have that vision down right now, where they know they've got vision from the two entries on the top and that ramp side.
So if Vulcun play this right and they just take away the blue buff and exit bottom river, then Samsung Galaxy will still not have any idea that they stole away the blue. The ward here from Mata is actually going to tell them a lot, though, because they'll know that Smithy's not immediately going over to his own blue as a second buff.
Well, we do see that blue buff start. Smithy is going to be taking this one away. Why is he going to go from that? You'd imagine straight to his red, but it also allows Dandy the opportunity to get over to his red as well.
Yeah, Dandy can easily go with the counter blue steal here because of the 2v1 lane swap. He has his support up in the top lane to back him up with that jungle invade, and that will probably be just a regular old buff swap here both of them taking away the other's blue buffs.
So, Mike Smithy did go over to his red. That's going to be just the exchange of buffs at this point. We are going to be seeing 2v1 lanes in this one, though. We can already see Vayne up top there. So that's going to be Vayne Sona versus the Shen. Bottom side matchup will be the Singed versus Ashe Zyra.
And Singed, true to Looper's strategy before, he always takes a small camp before going into that 2v1 situation, and he times his back return to lane with the minion wave, so he hasn't missed out on much. He's got a couple CS here up already on Psycho Sid because of that strategy, but there's a lot of extra damage going down on this turret.
Yeah, already putting masses of pressure onto that one with Smithy there. We saw in the mid lane that Dade doing good amounts of damage to ManCloud earlier on, which is probably what you'd expect coming out of that Ezreal anyway. Looper right now is stuck to his turret, trying his best to just farm things up. Will actually throw Zuna into the back there as Looper not quite getting knocked up. Dandy coming across, Zuna taking a lot of damage, but they're just outside of that turret range, so the turret really not coming into play at all, and they'll back away.
Both members of the duo lane just got the bad end of the trade right there, and now Smithy leaves the lane. So they actually have to be pretty careful right now because they're both squishy and they're dealing with an Elise here that has flash.
Oh, Danny going very low here. ManCloud going in. First blood comes down for Vulcun. We saw the tail end of that one. And, well, ManCloud, we talked about how much damage this Ezreal's able to put out. Dade dies without even using his barrier.
Dade's going to get so much flack back in Korea. He already has been having a terrible time this tournament. I kind of feel bad for him right there. But ManCloud with a very good outplay. You saw the sidestep there, juking the Mystic shot. Really, really well played there by Mandatory Cloud.
So down at bottom, Looper and Dandy here. Are they looking to get in? No, not quite. Bloodwater and Zuna able to just walk on away from that one. So another early game great start for Vulcun. The question is, can they keep it up? Because that's something that they've struggled to do after being ahead in many games so far throughout this group stage.
Very good point. But we did have the very crucial TF in mid getting that first blood. So not only did he get the gold, but he also has experience advantage. And an earlier 6 for TF means that that advantage in mid lane translates to the side lanes. So if Dade does not ward up his mid lane, now after giving up that first blood, his TF is going to roam wild here. Mandatory Cloud can go gank top or bottom and make the other lanes feel his pain.
Dandy currently doing a bit of counter jungling. I think they saw Jarvan moving into this top lane brush there, and therefore as he backs away, that's free farm for Dandy, who might try and visit this mid lane here against ManCloud Swiss's fate. We are going to see the cocoon coming in. ManCloud flashing out of that one. I actually think he might have dodged that one anyway, but nonetheless, better safe than sorry at this stage of things. Stays up, but without that flash, always a danger.
That does mean he won't have his flash for the first Destiny that he pulls. And the importance of his positioning with that first Destiny are going to be even more important now.
So he continues to farm very, very close with Dade, who came back into lane with a second Doran's Blade.
Repeat gank middle. He placed the pink ward, so he saw the ping come down for Mandatory Cloud. He knows that Mandatory Cloud has vision in there, but because the ward was seen being placed, that gank does fail.
One thing that they now know, though, is that Smithy once again has gone down to this bottom lane. Looper just going to back away from this one. They're going to give up this turret. This is going to be the first one of the game for Vulcun.
The duo lane for Vulcun is super scary right now because there's 2 globals to back him up. Mandatory Cloud can come from the middle, and Psycho Sid actually needs a couple more levels, but once he gets his Stand United, then they'll be able to turn everything towards that duo lane.
Speaking of Sid up in his top lane, Wave going to get pushed right underneath his turret, so he's going to have the opportunity to get back on par with Looper in terms of the minions that he's killed. Zuna and Bloodwater not wasting any time here. They're quite happy pushing up this bottom lane with Smithy roaming through the jungle. There's a taunt actually coming down. Mata takes a blast from the turret, but they are going to lose this outer turret. That will level us up on the turret kills.
Mandatory Cloud going to recall right now, so the extra pressure. Wow, he cancels the recall. They're going to go for this blue steal.
Well, they had it at level 1.
4 versus
They've
3.
got the timer on it, so why not? Why not pick that one up? There are 4 men there. Actually, ManCloud did come down here as well. We'll see if he actually goes for it. Dade gonna have a look for a cheeky steal over the top. Won't work out for him. And that blue given over to ManCloud. Great pickup.
Yeah, that's dangerous. When you're stealing away a blue buff and your jungler doesn't use smite, you're trying to give it to your mid laner. It's very dangerous because the other team can steal that away. The safer play is to have your jungler smite their blue and then just give yours over to your mid laner. But they've already got a very early blue on ManCloud, and they can actually sit on their own blue buff and basically extend the duration for ManCloud so they can have perma blue buff TF from mid who had first blood. So that mid lane really looking scary.
Dragon. Is that an option here for Samsung
No
Galaxy
6 on
Ozone?
Shen.
No 6
Oh,
on...
there we
Oh,
go.
there it is. Hits 6 just at the perfect time. Dade actually trying to distract them here in middle. There's the Jarvan flag coming over the top, so they know it's there.
They should... Vulcun should definitely contest this.
They're
They
going
go
in for it. There's the Stan United coming
got
in. They managed to steal the Dragon as well. Xmithy goes low, but we see the ManCloud coming in from the bottom. There is a cleanse used by him, but ManCloud is going to pay the price of his life here. Looper charging on down onto Zuna. Can't get the slow off onto him. Flung back into the rest of the team. He will fall as well. Mata picking up the kill. That will be a 2 for 0, but the Dragon taken by Vulcun.
Shen did not come into that fight, so turned out to be a 4 versus 5, and that turned it around. If Shen had been there, this would have been huge. Smithy didn't go down. There was no cancel here. Don't know what happened with that Stan United. That's very unfortunate for Vulcun.
Well, not picking up any kills from that one, but well, it would have been a lot worse if Xmithy missed his smite and ended up losing out on that Dragon anyway. There's a turret down as well here for Ozone. That will put them up in the lead now in gold by around about 500. So let's see how that translates and look down some of the items. A needlessly large rod actually coming out for ManCloud. On the other side for Dade, he picked up that tier earlier on, not been back since then.
That means that Ezreal is really at a weak point right now too, because only 2 Doran's Blades as far as combat effectiveness goes, whereas Mandatory Cloud, 2 Doran's Rings, plus a whole needlessly large rod up on Dade.
That was the blue buff actually finished off. Looper just coming around the jungle there. He needs to be a little bit careful of how confident he gets with that one. Obviously, he doesn't have that ghost available to him. Does have the Insanity Potion still to run down, though. So he can speed up and get himself out of there if needs be. But Psycho Sid not coming down from that one. Something that's probably going to annoy them from that. I'm not sure whether he just said, okay, if I come down, I'm going to die anyway. So I'm just going to leave you kind of hanging in that scenario and just give you that shield. He's now picked himself up the start off of that Sunfire Cape with a Giant's Belt and that Chain Vest.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not sure what happened to that Standing Dive. The only way to really cancel that is to like burn your flash. And I looked at the replay, he just walked out of it. Anyway, we do have Vulcun here, grouping up in the mid lane. Now that they've lost their side turrets, their extra pressure from the double globals actually falls off a bit, and they have to defend their own jungle.
Oh, Mata in trouble here, going to get knocked up. He's inside the Cataclysm. Smithy knocked up and suddenly gets a wall, but there's the arrow. ManCloud comes in as well. Turn around here from Vulcun. Destiny going to come down. Dandy stunned up, but can they finish him? Yes! Grasping Roots, the knock up as well. What a turnaround there from Vulcun. It's Smithy that picks up the kill in the end. And they should be able to take this turret as well.
Oh, Mata, it's so dangerous in there. Trying to get the very deep wards down. Great collapse from Vulcun. Also, great arrow right there. And the flash over from Mandatory Cloud. Perfect crowd control. And gap closing at the right time there from both Vulcun members.
That is the mid turret here going down for Vulcun. It will level them up on the turret kills, put them ahead in kills. And a 2,000 gold lead now they have. Let's have a look at that one again.
Beautiful snare out of the bush right there. Mata just got way too close to an area he didn't have vision of. And the arrow making sure Imp doesn't get out. Really, really good stack there. Mandatory Cloud started it off, and Mandatory Cloud's also going to finish it off. He catches Dandy. They come in again. More stuns stacking here. Psycho Sid in the top, able to skirt around that extra little slow pool.
So well done there from Vulcun. But can they keep it up? That's the question that's been nagging them throughout this group stage so far. They've done well in the early games of pretty much every single game, but they've not been able to carry that one through, and this is a game where they need to really to avoid those mistakes. They said it themselves after pretty much every game. We made mistakes.
They definitely have a plan right now, though. They want to get all of the outer turrets. They see Vayne bottom. They send everybody up top. They do have Stand United, and they also have Crystal Arrow. Destiny is going to take a while to come back, but they have the numbers advantage up top. Imp freezing bottom. Vulcun are definitely going to take this turret.
They see that up inside of the brush. They're going to get rid of that ward thanks to the Oracle that he's currently running, and going to move in for another turret kill here. Minions not quite playing in their favor from this one, but I'll get a good few hits off. Next wave, that turret will be going down, and we can see that Ozone actually trying to make a play of their own here, possibly. True Shot Barrage going to come across, only hitting the back end of those minions. The turret does go down. That will put Vulcun ahead on that front, but will they be able to save their mid turret now? Oh, they're going to go for the inner.
All right, this is going to be a race, but Vulcun are one tower deeper than Ozone are right now. So if they continue with this race, Vulcun are just going to go straight to the inhibitor.
Wow, they are going to keep going from this one. We can see the recall coming in there from Samsung Galaxy Ozone. They've lost their inner turret in that top lane.
Vulcun trying to pick them off here. Like we said, Crystal Arrow is up. Destiny, a couple more seconds.
Oh, it's showing himself there from that one. Are they going to commit to this? To be honest, if those minions can come up, they've got a positional advantage to go up that mid lane. Dragon's coming up here in 20 seconds as well, we shouldn't forget.
So all that Vulcun have to do right now is get in position to contest this Dragon. Because they have vision control with Hawkshot, because they also have an Oracle's backing this up, they just want to buy time for Shen in the top lane, and as soon as someone from Ozone has to go up and deal with that, they're choosing Imp right now, they can make the move, force this Dragon.
Well, Imp is going in there, both Twisted Fate and Zyra went back for Vulcun. They're going to come back into it. Actually, the Zhonya's is now done there for ManCloud. See for Zyra picking up that Sightstone. Got a GP10 running boots in there, as well as a couple of loose wards as well. Currently no vision on Dragon whatsoever, which kind of surprises me, considering that they were so heavily around that area early on. But Imp did clear out that top, did stop Psycho Sid pushing it down.
Bloodwater had recalled with Mandatory Cloud to go get more wards to set up this Dragon fight, and so they've missed their opportunity where Imp was top, because now Looper's up there. He can both interrupt Psycho Sid and teleport himself. So the top lane right now, this duel, just as important as the 4v4 around Dragon, because if these top laners can keep vision of each other, then they can both interrupt.
Crazy, crazy tense game at this point. You can see that they're both backing away from that Dragon area right now. Dandy is going to rappel forward onto the minions. Cocoon sidestep there by ManCloud.
What?
Well, he almost went in for that one. He threw the stun down onto the minion, but they managed to catch out Mata. Are they going to be able to lock him up? Oh, Cataclysm was down. Looper teleported right inside of it. They're going to be able to pick off Dandy here. Actually, he's managed to get himself back there somehow to stay alive. Looper taking lots of damage. Bloodwater will fall down. Zuna now going to be the focus as he gets exhaust. ManCloud and Smithy are both low at the back. Zuna flashes to the backside as well. So very low on both sides of the table. Are they going to be able to chase through? Here come Ozone. There's a stun on towards him. Dandy follows around. Sid will walk away from this one, but Ozone not done just yet. They may be able to get the tower after.
And there's the mistakes that you were waiting for from Vulcun. Little bit sloppy right there. They do stand united extremely early. The gold card had already just come out to finish off a creep. Definitely miscommunication right there. Very chaotic fight, and Vulcun lost their game plan. No clear calls right there. They all split up, and Zuna was very deep in the Samsung team, not able to put out the consistent damage. They didn't set up their battle lines for that fight, and they weren't able to freely attack.
5-4 behind now in kills. You see that the worrying thing, Imp, a sensational AD carry, is 3-1-2 on Vayne right now. Has what is a massive CS lead over Zuna as well. Something that kind of crept up on me. I didn't see that one building, but he's had that time both in the bottom lane and then in the top lane, and Psycho Sid pushed that one in, and that's really gave him a nice advantage. You can see that he's approaching 2,000 gold extra over Zuna at this stage.
Yeah, they had him down bottom while they just gave up on that top lane turret. So that free farm did come at a cost. So not necessarily free farm then.
Imp and Mata just headed up towards that top lane. See if they could catch out Psycho Sid, but not going to be falling for that one. Zuna, he's got a mixed bag right now, not finishing off a major item. Got a BF sword, got the pickaxe in there. Is the arrow going to go through? Repelled away from though by Dandy. Great reactions.
Yep, good reflexes, but also firing off that crystal arrow on someone with a repel. A repel.
Not ideal.
Yeah, it's chancy.
Very chancy. And sometimes it'll work out for you, but I don't know. Dandy definitely ready for that one to come his way. Able to get completely away from it. ManCloud here. He's going to play that second split pusher in the team with Psycho Sid pushing top. He will start to move that bottom wave further up the map. He's currently behind in CS as well. As I said earlier on, got that Zhonya's Hourglass finish. Trinity Force on the other side is done for Dade.
It'll be interesting again who Psycho Sid chooses to stand united, because if Mandatory Cloud goes in for the classic Messiah TF initiates and uses the Zhonyas, then he'll have to have a delayed stand united come in and actually try and make use of the shield. Meanwhile, Zuna has had problems with his positioning, so Psycho Sid might want to save the shield for Zuna.
Well, they need to coordinate it better, whoever that shield ends up going down onto. So in that last fight, that just all a little bit disjointed from Vulcun overall. But now they're pushing up. Good catch from Bloodwater. Saw that one coming a mile away, but didn't quite have the speed to dodge it. And now Ozone, what is their next play? Pink ward's down, has spotted Smith his position, and he's going pretty deep into the jungle at this stage. Bloodwater and Zuna stood on top of that one as well. So Ozone having complete vision there of Vulcun as they move into the jungle.
Vulcun really, really need to make use of these dual globals that they have. Try and get advantage in 2 lanes at once. It looks like they're going to try and use the Baron Pit as their point of operations here. They're going to clear out as much vision as they can around it. Bloodwater's going to have to recall if he wants to do that, because he's out of pink wards.
He's going to be going home there, picking himself up that Oracle and a pink ward. Meanwhile, Looper actually pushed this bottom wave all the way onto the inner turret. Meanwhile, Sid not really going past that inner turret point either. They've not had the vision control of that top side for him to really feel comfortable about keeping going on that front. And it leaves Ozone now able to push out towards this midway point on that mid lane. And then we see Looper just head straight up towards top. He's just going to do exactly the same as he just did at bottom.
We're definitely going to need to see a higher level of coordination from Vulcun in their next team fight if they want to come out on top. Because the 2 AD carries that Ozone have chosen for this dual AD composition are both extremely mobile AD carries. So it means the crowd control is crucial coming from Vulcun. They have to land those abilities to lock down the AD carries, or else they're going to consistently out-damage the team just like they did last time.
So Shen and Sin swapping up lanes there. Sid headed down now towards the bottom. Looper is pushing that top already at the outer turret area. A bit standoffish at this point. We've just seen farm being given over to those AD carries in the mid lane. The top laners pushing the side lanes out there as well. And once they get to a certain level, just recalling back. You can see it there right now, almost mirrored on both sides of the map. Yeah,
Zuna has really, had a tough time this game. He needs to get at least the Infinity Edge for the next fight, because he's way, way far behind Imp right now. Imp is doing so much more in any team fight that they pull out. Meanwhile, top laner is just pretty much trading side lane farm here. Oh, Monika's caught again!
Oh, wow. That was so quick. We didn't quite catch it there. And you just can't afford to let that happen. That's something that they can't afford to let Vulcun do. These picks will bring them back into the game. Going to make them strong. We see that Smithy actually up inside by that blue buff right now. As Dandy thinking about checking it. He just cleared a ward out there with that pink, but in the end, Vulcun decide to back away. Probably wisely so. They can't afford a repeat of what just happened to Mata there.
Mata's doing his best to try and get vision to avoid these very, very dangerous ganks from Vulcun, but every time he goes a little bit too deep toward a new place, he gets caught out. Zuna smacking him in the head with a crystal arrow right there. They also have the ability for Mandatory Cloud to pop up Destiny, so if Vulcun catch somebody, they can get vision of the entire Ozone team and chase that person down because they'll have confidence guaranteeing vision of the entire Ozone team. Any pick that Vulcun get, they can check to make sure it's a safe one and go for all in on it.
So next big objective is the Dragon, now up and available for the taking as a Cocoon actually landing on towards Smithy there. Dade just off to the side, he's going to throw that true shot. Barrage through again. Bloodwater cashes it again. So, Dragon started off for the Koreans. Will Vulcun be able to get their way around and stop this one from being taken? Smithy going to slide through, but the Dragon already taken. There is a Cataclysm going to lock Looper up, but he's not the real target they want. Mindcloud coming into the back, using his Zonyas, but he's going to die before the rest of the team can do anything. Now Sid being focused down here. Imp taking chunks out of him will pick up the double kill. Looper will finally fall, but what have they killed? They've killed a Singe. That's not going to matter to Ozone right now as they chase down for even more kills. Smithy, will he fall? Yes, he will. It's Imp that picks up another one. Not quite done just yet. I think he fancied Bloodwater. Couldn't quite get in there. It's a 4-for-1. They lost the Singed, but it was just a Singed.
Vulcun are having such a hard time dealing with Looper here. They completely fall apart, and that opens it up for the perfect situation for these AD carries. Mandatory Cloud also engaging from the back right there while the rest of his team trying to deal with the Singe running around. They completely, again, uncoordinated team fight right there. They fall apart and they lose another one. They're slowly letting Samsung get back into this, and now Samsung with a pretty substantial lead.
That was Mindcloud using Destiny to get up towards his blue buff. Also, the fact that he can see that Ozone have all backed away from where they were. And now, in theory, a good idea. We see that, you know, the Messiah Twisted Fate Destiny, so to speak, where he gets in there and Zonies, but it requires your teammates to actually be right there on top of you as well to start the fight from the front side. And the fact was, Looper caught up inside of that Cataclysm, ran around in circles for a while and made a beeline to them. They all just ran away, and Mindcloud easy fodder.
Very, very poor there. But they still have Oracles, so they're trying to get the vision back. Now the gold lead being in Samsung's favor makes it much more difficult for Vulcun, though. They're actually going to rely on picking someone off right now. They're going to have a hard time in those team fights once again.
Well, the only one they've really been able to pick out so far is Matter. He died a little earlier on in that mid lane. Right now, Ozone pushing the waves back, and we get to that standoffish kind of tempo here once again. Dade just clearing outwards over by Dragon. Take that little bit of gold. Actually has his Muraman now finished alongside that Trinity Force. If we look down the AD carry, Zuna finally got that Infinity Edge in there. But look at Vayne. Phantom Dancer, Blade of the Ruin King from earlier, plus that QSS now.
That's a very, very scary Vayne. He's also, the cleanse plus the QSS means that even if Vulcun are able to land their CC that they're looking for on the right target, then he's going to be able to take that right off. Meanwhile, since Zuna was so far behind this whole game, Looper hasn't really had to worry about attack damage very much, and he's built mostly magic resistance. That's why he's having such an easy time getting through this Vulcun squad. The teleport comes in. They're cutting him off.
This could be very, very bad news. Vulcun completely out of position. There's the arrow going back. They try and focus down Dade. Strangled Thorns won't knock anyone up from that one. A good crescendo coming in there from the backside. Matter falling to low HP, but Zuna focused down. Here comes him. Sid's going to fall from this one. Smithy, easy target for the 2 AD carries now. Actually, good damage coming out there, but again, he cleanses it off. And there is Mindcloud gonna use that Zonia's, but will he be able to lock them up? The card, not the right one you're looking for. Double kill for Dandy. It's an ace, and they only lost the support here.
This Samsung team's gonna have the advantage in these spread out chaotic fights every time, because that's where Singe thrives, that's where Ezreal and Vayne can make use of their mobility. Really big win for them, and they're gonna be rewarded with the inhibitor turret.
Inhib taken down by Samsung Galaxy Ozone, making one step closer here to Gambit. They know that if they win this one, pretty much all in their hands going forward. Let's have a look at that fight again.
Teleport there from Looper to cut off Vulcun from the rest of their team. And even though Psycho Sid comes in with the same United on top of Zuna, Ash has nothing to reposition. So she gets flipped in, nowhere for her to go. ManCloud's doing his best to lock down Imp here while still trying to avoid damage from Dandy, but blowing off that Zanya's and pulling the red card here. He never actually even gets in range to throw the card, so it doesn't matter what color it is, he goes down.
Could have been the rainbow-colored destroyer of all cards, and it still wouldn't have made a difference. Ozone here, turning off towards Baron. Red buff going to go off towards Imp. More wards put down from Vulcan's side again. And we have to point it out because it's been a recurring theme for Vulcan. A strong start. But where the decisions have really counted coming into this mid-game with the team fights, it's gone horribly wrong for them.
And again, I kind of talked about setting up the battlefield lines there for Vulcan earlier, and they still haven't really been able to do it. Their team is a much more traditional team that relies on Shen and Jarvan in the front, TF Ashe in the back, and Zyra controlling the middle with her Stranglethorns. In the last fight, we saw the team all grouping up, Vulcan sitting on side of Stranglethorns to try and stay safe. But all Ozone had to do was spread out. Nobody got knocked up from that. There was no control being supported right there. And they just burned down Vulcan. Another turret taken. So
as the average game time for these teams, 30 minutes 29. Actually not an unrealistic target here for Ozone the way that things are going. Already longer than the average Vulcan game. As we get a short pause in here from that one. That'll be rectified here shortly, and we can carry things on. But it gives us a little bit of time to talk about this game, Kobe, because, again, both teams have their fate in their hands right now, and it's Ozone that are outplaying Vulcan.
They definitely deserve it right now, too. I mean, Vulcan, they got the composition that they want. This is not something new that they're trying. They've said many, many times that they put a lot of emphasis on the Twisted Fate plus Shen combination. And they also were able to get the Ashe Zyra on top of it. It's a very, very global heavy composition, but like I said, you have to be able to set up controlled team fights for it to pull off. And Ozone have played to that chaotic style and really benefited from it.
So apparently there's a slight problem with Zuna's mouse, which might explain that last Ashe arrow that went flying through the middle of everyone, off into the distance there. But hopefully that'll be getting fixed up here shortly, and we'll be able to get back into it. Don't forget, there's that rule in place. The team's not allowed to talk about the game during these pauses, which you might think, okay, this is actually great for Vulcan. Gives them the chance to think about things, but think is the only thing that they can do. Not allowed to communicate whatsoever in this time that they've got while Suna's mouse has been fixed.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit sad sitting there thinking about how it's turned out, because they'll remember the early gold lead that they got and what it's come to. At this point, they've kind of been forced inside their base, which is what you don't want to happen when you have the Twisted Fate plus Shen combination. You want to be out on the map, making use of those so you can pull off picks, so you can extend your vision advantage. But they've been now quarantined in their own side of the map by Ozone. And it's finally safe, at least for Mata, to go warding bushes, because Ozone are the ones in command of the jungle now.
And when we think about where, as you said, outside of the base is where those globals really come into their effect, we didn't see too much of it in the period of the game that, honestly, it matters the most, I guess we can say.
It was mostly them making use of it inside their own jungle, you're right, with the collapse onto the Mata, turned into Chain, a few kills on that, where they really started rolling, but they weren't able to hold it together.
Well, guys, while Zuna's mouse is getting taken care of up on the stage, we're going to go over to Riv and the guys for a bit of mid-game analysis on what's going on in this one.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As they get their computer reset, we're going to take a few minutes to discuss what's been happening. You know, Vulcan, again, on a bit of a roller coaster this time, but both teams have gotten into the seat for this ride. And it looks like towards the end here, coming out on top is Ozone.
You know, I really thought the game was completely over when Dada gave First Blood in such a silly way without using both the summoners. But it's surprised me so much when they came back in.
I felt the game was over after picks and bans. Yeah, I agree.
It's crazy. Like, we saw the very start of the game, Vulcun pulled at a strong early lead, but like their composition, it's very similar to one they played against Mineski. It's execution based and it's extremely low on damage. So if Ozone gets a little bit ahead, they seem to be able to steamroll.
I think any team comp is execution based, but this team comp has so many more options to beat the other team. Sad that Vulcun got away from that lead.
Another interesting thing is that Ozone chose to put Singe in a 2v1. They actually swapped Vayne to go 2v1 the Shen, who's significantly better than a Singe. Like, at least Shen can CS and taunt under tower.
Because Ash Zyra would completely, do really bad things to Vayne Sona.
Well, I mean, to go back to the composition from Ozone as well, as Double Lift knows, how much do I like double ADs with a scaling AD like Vayne and Tristan and Double Lift?
We've heard the wrath of Monte Cristo on that. Monty hates pretty much any double AD comp without Caitlyn.
So why is this?
that?
Where do you turn to it?
Well, basically because if you have Caitlyn Ezreal, right, you can abuse that early game advantage from the Caitlyn range, and you can close out the game very quickly. But especially if you're playing against Shen, who can get these Thorn Mails in the late game, if you're waiting for your Vayne to scale as well, then it can do really, really awful things to you. Because if Shen hits that item threshold, then you don't have the damage anymore due to too much armor. But like you're saying, Jet, with the low damage on the other side and the fact that Zuna got significantly behind in terms of CS, they really didn't have a lot of damage for a while. They had a Zhonya's first Twisted Fate and an incomplete Infinity Edge on an Ashe, and that was it, you know?
Oh, well, the big turning point was a fight, which will, once this game is over, we'll go into that replay as well, where Vulcun just really was too uncoordinated to bring it home. They had the advantage, they had the possibility to make it happen, and yeah, it just didn't happen. And really, really impressive play by Imter, though.
All right, guys, it looks like they are actually ready to get back into the game, so we're going to go ahead and send it back over to Joe and Kobe for the rest of the game between Vulcun and Ozone.
Thanks a lot, guys. So we're going to get back in and see if Ozone can finish off the game or whether Vulcun can make a bit of a turnaround from this one and buck the trend that's been happening to them so far. But once we get back into it, I mean, we just heard the analysis, guys, and what they had to say about the whole composition, the whole execution nature of this one, and how kind of fine line it is that you've got to ride to win this one. How do they come back from a scenario like this?
Well, as Crepo said, you know, most compositions are execution-based. It's much harder to execute no matter what composition you have when you're down 6,000 gold. So the options are limited here for Vulcun. Really, they're going to be looking for picks on isolated targets because of their low damage. You know, at least Zuna now does have the Infinity Edge, so his crit will pack a little bit punch. But even with that, they don't have very much sustained damage. And they're going to have to just hope to get small wins and delay the game much further until they can get back to sort of even footing on items.
Well, for now, Vulcun have stopped them going towards Baron. We saw a lot of pings going down there. Pink ward actually put down by Bloodwater on the ramp down towards Baron from their side. You can see there, Psycho Sid pushing out. This is a Shen that should be feeling most home when it comes to that split push and roll, and didn't even go even to the halfway point of that bottom lane.
Yeah, Singed and even Vayne here. Like, Vayne could now take Psycho Sid. Vayne is a very strong duelist. She has the Blade of the Ruined King, and she also has the Quicksilver Sash on top of her cleanse, so even if, you know, Psycho Sid does get a taunt to try and set him up for something dangerous, Vayne very slippery could get away here.
There is Looper farming up whilst recalling.
I like that.
Classy stuff from Looper. Tade going to be getting himself that blue buff as well. And Ozone here have a very firm grip on the map, or on the match, I should really say. No risks, though. We know that this match means pretty much everything to both these teams. The winner will have a chance to go through. The loser's going to have no chance to go through, and that's what really counts here. If we look down the scoreboard as well, something that we've not really touched on, Imp is 8-1-3 right now with a good 30 CS lead over Zuna.
Yeah, we've been over how scary that Imp is right now, and he hasn't gotten any less scary. Meanwhile, we still have their tank, just full magic resistor. He's only got a Doran shield to deal with any attack damage, harass, and it's because, again, not much threat from the Zuna Ashe right now. Attacking a Singe constantly is pretty hard for any AD. Zuna's going to have to be sidestepping for his life right now to try and stay in the back. Right now, I'd definitely be watching out for Flash Crescendo if I'm Vulcun, because those 3 members that were just at the turret right there, if they're all grouped up and they get all 3 Flash Crescendos, they can't get any of their CC out, and they could easily be bursted down by the amount of damage this Ozone team is packing just because of the gold advantage they have.
See there, Ozone actually leaving that mid and bottom lane and moving up towards that top side of the Vulcan jungle. Now to try and set things up, clear out for a possible Baron attempt. Still that pink ward remains as Looper actually going to be getting a little bit closer. Put down the glue but couldn't get the fling back onto anyone. Not going to be cleared out from him here, but this is an open inhibitor that's very dangerous to channel. They're actually going to go in here, managing to fling ManCloud back, but the rest of the team not quite on the same page. Looper causing all kinds of problems. There's a Crescendo. The Stranglethorn's not doing anything in that scenario, and Looper still keeps running through the team. They force them completely back. Everyone's around about half HP. They take the inhib and run.
Great trade there for Ozone. They get the inhibitor down. That's going to afford them the extra map control. Now they can take away the red buff and then just ward up all over the Baron, all over the path to Baron. Since they also know Destiny will be down now too, after they return from base, they can either set up siege on either one of the side lanes, or they can force Vulcan over to the Baron area. Vulcan right now, they're going to be relying on that Hawk Shot because they haven't been able to get any wards into the Baron area.
No vision of it right now. And, Andy might get caught out from this one. There's Cataclysm used. Andy, flash available, just flashes out of it completely. And here we go. Ozone, are they going to be able to turn this one around? Imp charging forward, has cleanse. Also has that Quicksilver Sash as Looper will teleport in. Who's the target? Surely going to be Zuna. There's a flash away from ManCloud. Zuna left on his own. That's a double kill picked up by him. And with those 2 men down, this could possibly be the finisher for Ozone.
Vulcan trying to catch somebody out before the full Ozone team returns to the Baron area, and they have to deal with that lack of vision. But now, 2 men down, Ozone just going to run straight through this Vulcan base.
Well, there's the second inhibitory of the game going down. Inhibitor will fall shortly afterwards. Are Ozone going to keep going? Nope, they're going to play this one safely, cautiously, and I think this is the right time of the tournament if you're going to be playing cautiously and safe to do it.
Now they make the retreat to Baron with 2 inhibitors down. They actually haven't warded too much up around this path, but they've definitely cleared out all Vulcan's vision. So they can see all the members of Vulcan inside their base with all the minion waves pushed up, and that's just an easy Baron.
Easy peasy there for Ozone, and all going to be returning. What extra ridiculousness are they going to be coming back in with? Another BF sword there for Vayne. Quicksilver Sash for Ezreal. We saw another giant spell added in for the team with Looper this time around. Yeah, scary.
Yeah, if, you know Monty doesn't really like these late game scaling AD duel compositions, but if you get to the late game with this composition, then it's much scarier because Ezreal and Vayne right now are so slippery and they put out ridiculous amounts of sustained damage. This Ozone team right now, because they've gotten this lead 35 minutes in, can really just run anywhere they want.
Well, it looks like anywhere. Maybe that bottom lane. Looper's already jogging on down there. And they will be clearing out here very quickly. Zuna now adding in that static shift to keep these waves back, I think, more than anything at this stage of things. But the fact is, Ozone with Looper up there, the big tanky beast that singes. Gonna go through. There's a true shot barrage. ManCloud losing a lot of health from that one, and Ozone just waiting for that minion wave to come in. On the top side, they've got super minions actually pushing in on towards the Nexus turrets as well. Vulcan are gonna have to deal with them at some point. Looper actually runs in there, gonna get rooted up. Only lost about a quarter of his health, and he's gonna keep going. There's a taunt. He's now down below half, but he does manage to get the flip onto Zuna. There are the Stranglethorns. Looper knocked in the air. Dandy at the back as Zuna goes down. Double kill. Here comes the cleanup crew as Imp gonna take a lot of damage there onto Psycho Sid, but they turn and burn. They're gonna try and finish the game.
Looper was literally taking damage from all 5 Vulcan members and still didn't go down.
Here we go then. Samsung Galaxy Ozone finish off the Nexus, finish off